Hey guys, Patrick R with TAP TV, and today we're here at EPT Precision Technologies in Austria, and I believe it's pronounced Mannlichers, which I'm probably wrong about that. And we're here to meet up with Marion, who's going to give us kind of a brief tour of the facility. Now, behind me, you'll see these machines later. This is one of their cold hammer forged machines, and I understand that they both run off of a leather belt system as well as by stream power, and they had a special stream cut to run a drive wheel that runs these machines, and they still use them today, which is pretty amazing. Now, they produce barrels and repair firearms for people all over Austria and really all over the world. So if you have a need for a really high quality barrel that's still made with old world love and care and skill, EPT is one of those places that you might call. So we'll talk a little bit more about the region in a little bit and then kind of get after it. All right guys, so now we're inside of EPT Precision Technologies, and they've been producing firearms here for 300 years. They've got a huge catalog of different chamber reamers, so they can build just about anything that you could possibly need. Now what's notable about this particular facility is they built some of Glock's first barrels in 1984, and they were building about 1,500 a week at times before Glock started taking over barrel production on their own. So if you've got one of the early Glocks, chances are you've got one of the barrels that were produced in this facility. Now, why we're here, though, is Ritter Stark wanted us to understand exactly where they bring their heritage from and how rich this part of Austria is in the manufacturing scene as far as firearms are concerned. And, given a 300-year, history in this building, not necessarily this building, but with this company, they kind of pull that into their own lineup as well. So let's kind of walk around and see how it is. All right, so now I'm standing in front of the rifling machines, and these have been in continuous use for about 30 years. Now, EPT produced these themselves for rifling the barrels. They also do cold hammer forge as well, and we can't really show you kind of the steps of the process because there is some proprietary information. But it is really cool to see these well-used, worn machines that are just, well lubricated, and you know that they're used by professionals. All right, so behind we have the deep hole drilling machine, and that's where they drill the hole for the bore prior to rifling. And you can tell it's just well used. It's been in continuous use for a long time. And obviously it's not the most high-tech piece of equipment, but that's where the craftsmanship of EPT comes into play. All right, so behind me here we've got an erosion machine, and this is what they're going to be using to produce the trigger parts, the sears, other internal components. And I mean, it's kind of the same wire EDM process that we're used to seeing, but they use particular forms to cut out each part out of steel. So it's not as advanced, but still using the same ideas as a lot of modern manufacturers like Timney and Ritter Stark are both using. So I think it's pretty neat, and again, it's just got that feel of an old world shop. All right, so behind me I've got the honing machines. Now we saw these at Ritter Stark, although slightly more advanced, and these are used for both shotguns and rifles, and actually on the machine to my left they actually have a double rifle barrel on there that's being honed prior to rifling. Again, it's one of those things where what is old is new and new is old. It all kind of works. I think it's really kind of cool though that Ritter Stark is utilizing technology that's being used in this traditional gunsmithing shop in the production of the SX1, and they'll be using it in the production of the SLX as well. So something neat that EPT is doing is combining old machines like we just saw with brand new machines like these computer control units here. And we just walked by a wire EDM machine that they're using to cut out other trigger parts and make reproduction parts for repairs, because not only do they produce new firearms here, but they also rebarrel and repair historical firearms as well. And because they've been here for 300 years, they can use the same methods that were used to produce them, 150, 200 years ago, and apply it to a repair today on, that historical firearm. I think it's really cool to see companies like this exist, and it really speaks highly about the region. So the particular region of Austria that we're in has up to 10 different gunsmith shops or gun manufacturers that do things the old way. And my understanding is there's about 5 large ones and 5 small ones, or some combination of that. They produce up to about 200 rifles or shotguns yearly. And they can go from anywhere from 30,000 euros on up to €1 million plus, depending on how much inlaying and engraving and craftsmanship went into that particular firearm. So those really expensive shotguns that you see come out of Austria or Germany, and even England, like the ones that Miles talked about when he did the shotgun tour. A lot of those techniques are applied here too. Now they also have one of very few gunsmithing schools located just across the street, and that means a lot in the way of attracting new talent. So I think that's pretty awesome. All right, so right behind me is the belt system that runs the cold hammer forge machines that I'm gonna kind of show you right about now. And like, this stuff still all works, but walking in here, it feels like it's 1910. And the fact that it's still all standing and utilized is just nothing short of amazing. It's all driven by leather belts and machines like that. So it's a little bit too dark to really show you guys a really good look, but we'll kind of give you kind of a pass through to give you a good idea. All right, so they actually brought us into another part of the facility that they normally don't show people, and that is their cold hammer forge machine. Now this has been in use for about 50 years, and they produce the rifling on most of their barrels this way. Some of them are cut on those machines that we saw earlier, but many of them are done right here on the cold hammer forge machine. All right, guys, so that is it for our tour of EPT Precision Technologies. And I want to thank them for having us, and I understand as well why Ritter and Stark wanted us to see this. So we would really understand why the Austrian philosophy towards firearms is so rooted in history and skill. So they focus on what has worked for hundreds of years and find ways to bring that into modern techniques and modern technologies to achieve a product that's pretty damn good. So I want to thank everybody that's allowed us to come tour the facility, and it's just been a lot of fun. So if you haven't checked out our sponsors, Proxibid or Ventura Munitions, please do so in the link. We'll see you guys later. Bye.